Better this one.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another interactive session with Essentially Sports. Today, we are privileged to have James Young, the American mixed martial artist who is all set to make his professional debut for one championship at the Revolution card. So glad to have you here, Young. First of all, I just want to know what's going on in your mind. You're about to make your debut for a big promotion at a grand stage. What's going on in your mind?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And yeah, what's going through my mind is just ready to go, man. I'm just tranquil, zen, and just ready to go.
So, like, obviously, you had a glittery career in the amateur chain. You stopped most of your rivals via stoppage, and it's quite an achievement to do. So, how was it actually making the transition to the professional chain? What were the changes that you had to go through mentally, physically? So, how was it?
Yeah, I mean, I think those amateur fights are really just a test to develop you into the professional ranks. So, I just took those lessons from those fights, and I've taken all that knowledge and all that experience, and I'm pushing it forward to my career now.
Obviously, it's quite clear that you want to be a world champion someday. That's pinnacle of success in the professional chain. But apart from that, several fighters we've seen, they've got their own personal goals, like matching up against some of the elite. So, do you have any such specific goal that you want to attain in the professional journey?
Whoever has the belt, for me, I feel like I'm a bounty hunter, and there's a bounty on my opponents, whoever they put in front of me, and I got to go collect it. That's all it is. It's nothing personal. I mean, I respect everyone that goes in the ring and fights. So just whoever stands in front of me, I got to go get them. Bounty hunting style, hunting season.
And debuting for one championship means it's going to be a grand opportunity for you, grand opportunity for your professional career, and you have already started preparing for it. There are news that you have been training hard with Demetrius Johnson, one of the greatest fighters. So, how has been the experience training with DJ and all the other elites?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a blessing. It's been great. He's been a big mentor inside the ring, outside the ring. It's like a brotherhood at AMC Kickboxing Pancration, and even our brothers from Charlie's Combat Club C3 here has also helped come in and helped us train for this upcoming fight. So, yeah, man, everyone's like family. So it's nothing but great vibes every time.
And recently we got out that news that Demetrius Johnson is going to face Rod Tang in really a hybrid form of contest, like 2 rounds Muay Thai, 2 rounds. That's insane news. So I just have to ask you, what's your thought on that? Like, who are you rooting for?
Once again, baby, one championship is innovating the game of mixed martial arts, once again. So, I mean, stay tuned to that. I mean, of course, I'm going to be biased because my brother DJ, of course, I want him to win the fight. I'm going to be there in his corner. I'm going to help him prepare every chance, like I'm going to give him everything I can, to help him get ready. But, Rod Tang is a great fighter, one of the world's best, of all-time greats. So it's very exciting that he's taking that risk to put himself into the MMA realm. So, it's this to be a super fight on so many different levels. If this continues, this kind of combat sports, I mean, that just changes combat sports entirely. We should do more fights like this. Why not? This is truly one of the greatest fights of all time.
Now, coming from the background of United States-based mixed martial arts, how do you feel that Asian MMA scenario? Obviously, one championship has exceeded itself beyond the limits of Asia, but how do you feel? How are you about to perceive the Asian-based MMA content and all the fan base, the grand fan base in India? What do you feel about it?
Bro, I love it, man. I used to live in China, and I got to form a few times traveling around with this in a Shaolin Martial Art Academy. And I went to India a few times actually. I went to New Hyderabad, Mumbai, and New Delhi. And I got performed at a Bollywood award show, Indian Cricket League, and like something for this bank event. But it was pretty amazing, man. It was a very great experience, and I love the people out there, man. So yeah, man, the Asian fans are amazing. So every culture has a martial art that's is very special, dear to their culture, as part of our identity as individual countries, So that's kind of something that unites everyone together. But in the future, I'd love to bring one championship to America too, and have shows here as well, and merge the fan bases together. I think once Asian people start, or not to Asian people, but Americans start catching on to the Asian fighters' names and understanding these people and learning their stories and get inspired from their stories and their backgrounds, I think it'd be an amazing thing for the world.
Now, obviously, you're from United States. You'll be flying down to Singapore, which is considered to be the Mecca of Asian MMA. and you will be facing some sort of climatic change, a change in the time zone. So do you think it's going to affect your training? Like, how is it going to affect you in a way, the
Yeah,
changeable?
I mean, the hardest thing is just the flight, and just the time difference. But we have enough time to acclimate, and I've been there over there quite a few times now, and so it ain't too hard. Actually, it's a lot harder when I come back. I always have a way harder time adjusting to my time. But when I go over, for some reason, I'm not too bad. I go right to sleep on schedule and train fine. It's just the most important thing. As soon as I touch down, I gotta break a sweat. I gotta do something in the room just to get my body sweating as best I can, and that will put me right back to sleep. So no problems at all.
Now, talking about the fight card, Revolution Fight Card is obviously a great platform. It's going to reflect some of the biggest names of modern age combat, and you're going to be a part of it. So, any special plans, like after you win, do you want to go out, call out someone, or like give a trash talking, go outside the cage and do something? Any special plans?
I'm just start doing some backflips off the cage. No, I honestly, man, I'm just excited for the entire fight card, man. Every single fight on that card. I mean, there's 3 title fights on there, but every other fight on there is amazing fighters. Everyone's gonna be potential to have fight of the night. So that's the thing I'm most excited about. I get to start. We get to start. Me and Roel get to start the show off in exciting fashion, electrifying fashion, and then from that point on, I just lay back, sit back, maybe get a cheese pizza, some beers with DJ in the room, and enjoy the rest of the fights.
So, as you spoke about Rosario, Rosario is someone who has got a professional experience. So, how do you perceive him as an opponent? Like, what's your game plan? How have you decoded him as an opponent?
Yeah, he's very tough fighter. He's a seasoned fighter. Has good experience, and he's a good tricky southpaw with a big powerful left kick. Yeah, that's really it, man. He studies a style Filipino martial art called Yao Yan. There's a lot of kicking involves a lot of kicking, and he has multiple Muay Thai national records. So I think he was a silver medalist in the Philippines. So yeah, man, he's a very dangerous fighter. But at this level, everyone's dangerous, and it's all about who has the best IQ and who can execute the game plans and adapt to the opponent better.
Now, Yang, having finished most of your fights via stoppage in the amateur chain, do you feel that finishing your opponents is extremely obviously it's important, it's way important for a fighter, but do you feel that you be aiming for a stoppage when in your debut, or do you want to just come into a way, go out in a technical fashion and just claim the win?
No, I always want to go for the finish. I don't want to dance around the ring and play around. I'm always going forward. I'm obligated to the fans as well. I mean, it's like if everyone's going to spend their hard earned money and their time, give their time to watch this event, we owe it as athletes and as fighters, professional fighters here to go for the finish 100% every time, nothing less. I get it. People get hurt and get tired or whatever, but that's where that's where the preparation has to come into play. That's what, I mean, if they're going to do all that to watch us, we have to be ready to give the best show of our lives, put our heart in the line here for this. So either I'm going for the knockout, the submission, and that's it.
Now, I just wanted to ask you a very important question. There has been huge debates in the MMA community regarding knee to the grounded opponents. Like some people favor it, some people don't. When you come down to one championship, it's a sheer challenge. Like even if you're on the ground, you're going to get kneed by your opponent. So, what's your take on that? Do you feel that it's justifying, or do you feel that no, knee to a grounded opponent shouldn't happen? Because we've seen Demetrius Johnson lose a fight, his first fight in the one championship, due to that. But if it was in the UFC or any other some promotion, it couldn't have happened. So, what's your take on that?
I like it. I love the rules actually, because, honestly, you can't let the rule sets, even as a professional fighter, you can't let those rule sets dictate how you approach martial arts, because the reality of it is, that's going to happen in the street, or if you get in an actual combative situation, multiple attackers can come at you, you get kneed, you get eye gouged, you get hit in the groin. All those things have to come into play. Foul play comes in there, and then that's just the unarmed combat aspect of it. Then there's armed combat. And if you're neglecting those kind of training scenarios, things with headbutts, if you're neglecting that kind of training in your training, then you're missing a big piece of the martial arts. So for me, I train for a sport, specific stuff, but the reality is I have to take in I try to learn everything as much as I can about martial arts, not just, I don't let the rule sets dictate how I approach my martial arts training.
So you are some sort of a brawler. Do you envision yourself going out in the first round and brawling, or do you want to stay calm and see how the fight plays out? What would
Yeah,
be
I
your
mean, you're
plan?
gonna have to just tune in, find out. My fighting style is, I do like to go for the finish, but I do it in a smart way. I like to plan. I don't just swing and fire. I don't swing randomly. I aim and I fire like a marksman. I take my time and I breathe and I find my shots.
Also, fighting for one championship means there's a platform where you can transit to some sort of other sport. Like obviously, I've seen Stamfertics do that. You've seen many other like Rotang is doing this right now. So, will you be open to entering into a Muay Thai bout or some sort of a hybrid bout or any? Obviously, it's way too early to think right now. You're already focused on your debut, but in the future, do you envision yourself like going into some other sort of sport under one championship and trying yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, whatever one wants me to do, they put a bounty out on an opponent, whoever, and I'll go collect it. That's my goal. That's what it is every time for me.
I still remember when the news came out that you're going to be a part of one championship. A lot of American fans, a lot of Asian fans really liked it. It was a hype going around a fighter who is just about to make his debut. So, what was your reaction, or what did your friends and family react when they got to know that you're about to be a part of one championship?
It's been a lot of love, man, from a lot of people, and you know that always motivates me more. You know, and, you know, I know as a fighter, you know, you go into the ring, you're by yourself. It's an individual sport, but reality is, you know, I carry my family, my friends, and everyone, my teammates, everyone on my shoulders with me when I go in there every time. So, you know, I feel like, you know, they give me all the energy I need to perform.
How exactly did the offer land up? How did you come up to one championship? Your first interaction with Chatri Sikyodong, if you can share all these experiences.
Yeah, what was my first? It was a while back. I think we were at one of DJ's fights. We're at Evolve, I believe, and my man Chatri was just coming out of like full sweat. He just had a nice workout, you know, at Evolve himself. You know, he's a martial art. He's a really good martial artist himself. So that was pretty cool to see. Him and Matt were just chopping it up. And yeah, he seems very happy after he had a nice workout. So yeah.
So apart from martial arts, what's going around in your life right now? Since you're going to be a part of not just legacy, but also sheer stardom, because after the fight, if you win the show, it's going to bring you a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs. So it's not just about enriching your legacy. It's also about building your profile as a superstar of the sport. So any specific plans on that? Like how are you going to market yourself after the fight? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna after the fights, do whatever happens, you know, go back with my team, recess, and look to get better and improve my skill sets. You know, as far as marketing goes, you know, I'll do whatever I need to do to market. You know, in social media, all that, video games, all that stuff. But you know, I just have to be myself. I'm not trying to force nothing either. You know, I just want to be myself, live my life. After the fight, I'm just gonna be hanging out with my wife, my friends, and my family. This last camp, I've been isolated away from everyone for quite a while, so it'd be nice to see them again and hang out with them and spend some time with them for a little bit, you know, a little downtime, maybe just for maybe for like a week, and then right back to the gym.
So it's like all flow. You're already planned up for the next things. Now I just want to know, Young, as a child, when you were growing up, how did the thought of becoming a professional fighter strike your mind? How did you start fighting, and who actually inspired you to lace up the gloves?
Yeah, man. So, you know, as a child, I think I just wanted to be a martial artist. It wasn't necessarily that I wanted to be a fighter. I just wanted to be a martial artist. And I don't know why I was like that. It's just something that I've always had that pull, you know, and all my other siblings and my cousins, none of them became martial arts or anything. But for me, it's just all I wanted to do. And, you know, maybe there was a time when I was walking with I was a little child and my grandma was walking me around with my cousins around where we lived. And we got attacked by these two guys, like these two random guys started like harassing. I don't know what they're thinking, harassing an old woman, an old grand lady with two little kids. But they were chasing us and they were throwing stuff and cussing at us. And she defended us that day and protected us with her shoes on. You know, she had like Asian slippers on, the Asian granny with slippers. She really fought them off with her slippers. And you know, she had to walk home barefoot that day. And the whole time as a kid, I was just thinking, damn, I wish I was bigger just so that I could protect them. You know, that's what I felt like. You know, I wish I was just there. But maybe that was part of it. I don't know. She also grew me up on a lot of like Jet Li movies, like Once Upon a Time in China, Wong Fei Hong, and like Bruce Lee movies, and so all these kind of things kind of factored in into it, I believe. But yeah, when I first started doing martial arts, I was, you know, inspired by our local Chinatown here in Seattle. There's a lot of lion dance performers, and I was really inspired by that as a child, and eventually I ended up becoming a part of one of the teams and performing around Seattle myself as a lion dancer. So, you know, that was always part of my cultural identity as well. So maybe that's why I done what I did.
And obviously, clearly, you're on the brink of a career-defining stage of your life. If you win your upcoming show for at the Revolution, it's going to be massive. So, and if we look at the structure of one championship, we can actually look at a proper blend of entertainment and combat. Like they have tried very new things, as we recently just spoke about the hybrid form of combat. If you look at the One Apprentice, so there are a lot of new things that one championship is really trying to do with their projects. And when looking at that, do you envision yourself being a part of any such projects like One Apprentice or any other media platforms while fighting for the promotion?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I saw that during like the VR, train. I mean, that's pretty amazing too. The VR program they're doing with the One Championship. I mean, that's a great way to study an opponent or study your fights. You guys actually be in the ring and watch how they move, as opposed to from a broadcast. So I mean, that is just changing the game in multiple facets. They're all over the place, man. We're in the video game realm, from different fights in one show. It's incredible, man. They're really changing the game.
Also, like talking about crossover matchups. Like we have seen MMA fighters move to the boxing ring and take a lot of action with the professional boxers. But when it comes to MMA, we have never really seen a cross promotion event, the same that happens in boxing. But Chatri Sityodong a few days back said that yeah, he's open to hosting a event with UFC, and if that happens, it's going to be massive. Obviously, UFC has got its state in USA. One championship is ruling Asia and a lot of other parts of the world. So, how do you see that event? Obviously, it's going to be massive, but will you be willing to be a part of that event? And if yes, who would you like to face?
Absolutely. I mean, whoever is the top dog, man, another promotion. That's what it's about. Champion versus champions. I mean, that's what we're all waiting to see. Who's really the best? Undisputed. That's the thing. In boxing, they have champions in different leagues, but they make an undisputed fight, and it's always a massive fight, right? Well, we gotta do that in MMA as well. There's always other promotions that have champions all around, and who's really the best? The only way we're gonna find out is let them compete. But unfortunately, other than Chatri being open to it, a lot of organizations aren't open to it because of the financial things. But if they can work that out and make it a deal, maybe like winner takes all, really
Yeah.
put it on the line, that'd be insane. So I'm really hopeful that they get it done, and hopefully I can be part of that one day.
Just want to discuss with this young, like obviously the boxing is doing really pretty big things with their unification fights and all, but a lot of people still argue that this feature has actually made the sport vulnerable. Like a lot of social media stars, a lot of players are coming
Mm.
down to the sport without having any amateur experience, and they're just enjoying all the stardom. So a lot
Mm.
of people says that MMA is kind of safe right now from this kind of social media stars and exhibition. It's just because MMA has got their own fixed roster. So do you feel that unifying the belts is going to like make this sport vulnerable just like boxing? Like do you see social media stars getting into MMA and calling out professional martial artists just like they are doing in boxing?
Yeah, well, there's two sides to it. The social media guys that are jumping into the boxing, they're bringing a whole new generation with them. And once they get past the social media part and start looking at other fighters, now there's a whole new generation that's watching fights now. They weren't there before. This whole all the new kids are watching now. I mean, in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they'll still be watching. And who's gonna bring the new generation in? You don't want the sport to ever die out. And so if that's what it takes to keep innovating the sport, then so be it. They're bringing in money. They're bringing in new eyeballs to the sport, and eventually, they're gonna have a fight with someone who's for real, and they're gonna get hurt. And so if they're not prepared to do it, then that you're gonna be exposed really fast. But that's the thing about this game. There's no escaping the truth of it. If you're for real, you can hang with everybody. But if you're just there for the fame, just for the stardom, you're gonna get exposed pretty quickly. So as far as coming to the MMA world, none of those guys will do that because it takes so much more than. No, I mean, boxing is a sweet science, and don't get me wrong, you have to be very specialized and very, there's a lot of things that go into boxing, clean boxing. But when you go into MMA, there's so much more variables and so much more you have to learn and so much work you have to put in to develop a full-rounded game that, a lot of guys aren't willing to do that because it's just so much effort. And you really have to like love it to do it. And if you don't love it, then there's just no point.
Now, coming back to your own fight preparations, like obviously you said that after the fight you want to go out and enjoy your pizzas and also I assume that you're cutting down on a lot of your favorite food. So what's your diet? Like how does your diet look like right now if you can?
Yeah, man. So I've been eating the same meal for the last 8 weeks every day. I wake up in the morning, I have me a nice little bowl of oatmeal with cinnamon, some coconut flakes, either banana or apple chopped up into it, a couple boiled eggs, and some honey sprinkled up in there too. That's my breakfast. And then for lunch and dinner is usually some kind of rice, vegetables, chicken, and salmon. right now in Seattle or Washington State, there's a salmon run going down this time of year. So going my people, my fellows be going, my relatives are going and fishing. I'm going fishing and pick up some salmon, and it's been great eating. So I love it. I love this time of year because I love fish, and yeah, it's been good. I eat like this most of the time, anyways. But definitely after now, I'm gonna have a little week, maybe a week break of just enjoying some food, some barbecue, some pizza, just maybe one time, just get it out with some ice cream, and just enjoy myself.
So coming across so many things like diet, your intense training. So what has been the most difficult part of this entire camp, and what is the part that you have enjoyed the most?
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed the whole process of it, of every camp. Every camp's always a learning experience. It's like a roller coaster, and each time you develop. When you get to the fight, that's the fun part. The whole camp itself that's the journey. Really. So you learn a lot about yourself throughout the time. And for me, the hardest part is just knowing when to pull off some training, because I just love to just go 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 go. And sometimes you need to, if you go too hard, that goes to your own detriment. So you have to learn how to pull back and work on the recovery aspect of the game so that you get the benefits of your training. But yeah, I also I wear these glasses, just blue light glasses, just so that my circadian rhythm can be better, so I sleep better, so I perform better. I have this ring, it's called the Aura Ring. It monitors my sleep and my heart rhythms. So just making sure that I get better REM sleep. There's a little deficient in the beginning of camp. And so I just been tweaking my sleep schedules. And yeah, my teammate gave me these glasses just to help out. And it really worked. It really works. My REM sleep got better. And so my performance gone up. So, that's been the biggest aspect. And I'll take those lessons of recovery and to the next camp and keep building from there.
Like wearing the glasses, wearing the rings, these are actually preparations for the fight, like preparations that you do outside the cage, outside the training. So obviously it
Mhm.
calls for a lot of mental pressure, a lot of mental assistance you need to provide it into. So what has been more challenging for you, the physical training or the mental training? Because this is going to be your debut, you're excited, you're tense, everything's jotted up in your mind, and obviously you've got the physical work to do also. So which one has been the harder, the mental battle or the physical battle?
Well, I believe it goes hand in hand. Pressure is for people that are unprepared. So, I believe the preparation has helped me not just physically, but it's also the mental side of it for sure. Every morning I wake up, I do my breathing exercises, my meditation, and then I have my routine. I eat my oatmeal and then I start my day from there. And yeah, man, at first in the fight gets announced, I got very excited, but as it draws closer, I just get more calmed out and zenned out. And it's not like I don't feel pressure or anything, but I'm so accustomed to that feeling. I love that feeling now. I crave that feeling. So it ain't nothing new for me. Like I said, I performed in front of huge crowds before, and it's no different from a huge crowds of people of thousands, millions of people, or one person. It's the same feelings, and I just learned how to manage it. And through all the competition I've done in my life, through my extensive martial arts competition and wushu competitions, I've learned really how to harness that as energy and learn about my mind and how to calm the mind, because it's all an illusion. All those things that creep up in your head, that's just in your head. The reality is you got to be in the moment now. All that things you're thinking about, that's not real yet. That doesn't exist yet. Just now is what's real. So you just go through it, and when it gets there, I'll be ready.
So it seems that it has been quite a spiritual or a mental cleansing for you too, because like you have understood the things that you need to do, things that are going to happen. So has it happened by on your own, or do you consult these things like spiritual things or the mental process with some of your mentors? Because you
Yeah, I
really
mean,
look
definitely.
sorted.
Yeah, I mean, definitely comes through just all the people I've come across in my martial arts journey. They've all had a piece of building me, of making who I am today. I've learned something from everybody. And of course, obviously my coach and my teammates, have a big part of it. But yeah, man, it's just through all the years of training and as a martial artist. I mean, as a martial artist, it's always about self-growth and continually to get better, no matter what level I get to or achieve or whatever I get to, you always improve and get better. So you have to be humble and understand that, be objective to yourself sometimes. You can't just get overconfident and think that you're the best at everything, because the reality is you're deficient in some areas, and you have to learn how to work on those deficiencies to increase your overall level.
Also, I really wanted to ask you a very important question. We all know that the entire world was going through the wreckage of COVID-19 for almost 2 years right now, and obviously things are a bit flexible right now, but looking back to 2020 and the early 2021, things were really harsh. No one was allowed to move, no one was allowed to travel, and you were on the brink of making your transition from amateur to professional MMA. So how hard was it to cope up with the new changes, all the medical protocols, all the lockdowns and all? So what was going on in your mind when you saw the entire world get shut down just when you were about to make your transition to professional chain?
Yeah, man. So it was very tough, as far as like the future of like, no one knew what was gonna happen. That the whole situation was no one's lived in that before. So when it happened, and for me, I just thought, it was a test from the universe of how bad do you want it? Do you want to do this, or are you gonna quit now? And I decided not to quit. I hunkered down. I converted my place into a gym. Basically, I built a squat rack out of wood, and I just built this punching bag stand out of wood and just adapted to the situation. That's all you can do, in there. And fortunately, I was able to still teach private lessons and stuff to keep my income going enough so that I could eat and have a place to live. But yeah, man, that's all it was. I just had to adapt to the situation. It was a flowing, moving situation, and that was it. Never stop training. Keep going.
And here you are, you're just about a few days away from making your debut. You're obviously excited. How active are you looking forward to being? Like after the fight, do you envision yourself taking a fight this year, or do you want to close off the calendar and go directly to 2020, 2022?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm gonna let one championship decide that. But of course, I would love to just stay active. I would like to go right back and go right back again and again and again and again and again. But of course, they have to, they have their cars and they have to, But yeah, next fight for me after my fight, if I can get a fight before that, before DJ's fight, then I'm just gonna be helping DJ prepare. That's what it's gonna be because he's got a super fight coming up, and our attention needs to be there for him. Like he right now, his attention's on there is for me, and then when it flips back to him, and then maybe we'll flip back to me, and then I'll keep going back, and we'll see. We'll see what happens from that point on.
Also, Yang Yu doesn't appear to be a typical trash talker who just demeans their opponent. But if you want to send some message to Rosarao, what would it be?
Yeah, man. I mean, I have nothing against the guy. It's nothing personal ever against any opponents. Just hopefully he gets to the fight healthy and safely, because that's gonna be the hardest challenge is leaving our countries and getting there without any getting sick, or whatever. So that's the biggest thing. Like I said, man, there's no face to it. There's no animosity towards my opponent. Literally, I feel like I'm a bounty hunter. They put that price on the guy's head, and I'm just gonna go collect it. That's all it is.
Do you have any special message for the Asian MMA fans?
Yeah, man. Much love to you guys, man. Tune in September 24th. This is going to be an amazing, electrifying fight card. 3 championship fights from top to bottom, man. Your boy's going to try to start it off with Roel. Amazing fashion. So let's make sure you tune in. Let's have some fun.
So lastly, Essentially Sports has been fortunate to have closely worked with One Championship. Our readers love the content that One Championship has provided. If you have any message for our website and the readers that we have.
Yeah, man. Hey, guys, stay tuned, man. These guys are doing big things, man. Stay in it because there's gonna be big things to come in the future. You guys gonna be covering the DJ Rodtang fight, right?
Yeah,
You guys
absolutely.
have to get there. Yeah, you have to, man. It's gonna be incredible. So just stay tuned to them, guys, and it's gonna be a bright future for everyone.
Thank you so much for joining with us, James. We wish you all the best for your professional MMA debut, and we hope that we will reconnect soon after you get the win. So till then, stay safe, stay
Nuclear,
well.
brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate you a lot, man, and stay safe out there. Okay.
Thank you so much with us. That's all for today. We will get back to you in some time soon. Thank you.
Thank you.